Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about permittivity. Yesterday, while we are discussing Coulomb's attraction force or repulsion force between any two charges, we came across a term like permittivity. So there we have introduced epsilon naught as the permittivity of free space, and it is going to carry the value 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb square by Newton meter square. Today we are going to learn more about this. So if the two charges are being separated by a distance in air, we can make use of this permittivity of free space directly as 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 4. But if the two charges are being separated by a distance in any other medium, so what kind of force that we can expect in between the two charges? So in this case, we are going to calculate the force when the two charges are being separated by a distance in a medium. So first of all, we have to define what is permittivity. So permittivity is the character of a medium. So how we are going to define permittivity is, it's a property of a medium which influences the force between the two charges. It will decide the force between the two charges. So here different mediums are going to have different permittivities. So thereby automatically the force between the charges in that particular medium is going to be different from medium to medium. So in this case, if you are going to consider two charges Q1 and Q2 which are being apart at a distance of, they are being separated by a distance of r, and there is a medium that is being present in between them and which carries the permittivity as epsilon m. Epsilon m stands for permittivity of medium. So now we are going to introduce a medium in between these two charges, that is this medium is going to have a permittivity epsilon m. So now the Coulomb force or electrostatic force between these two charges is given by F medium equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon m into Q1 Q2 by r square. See, look at this carefully. In this particular formula, we are going to introduce epsilon m. In place of epsilon naught, we are going to introduce epsilon m. Why? Because the medium is going to present in between these two charges. If there is no medium at all, we must write epsilon naught here. Why? Because for free space or for vacuum, we will go with epsilon naught value only. So that is going to be something like 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb square by Newton meter square. So but here the formula is going to be 1 by 4 pi epsilon m into Q1 Q2 by r square. So this is the difference why we are going to take a medium in between the two charges. After knowing about permittivity, we have to go with relative permittivity. Relative permittivity is a comparison between a permittivity of a medium with permittivity of free space. So already we know the permittivity of free space. If the permittivity of a medium is compared with the constant value, then it is said to be relative permittivity. And it is being defined. Now we can define relative permittivity as the ratio of permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of free space is called relative permittivity. It is simply a ratio. It is a permittivity of a medium to permittivity of free space. And now we can derive a formula, or we can give a formula like relative permittivity epsilon r is equals to epsilon r. Epsilon r means here r stands for relative. This will be equals to epsilon medium by epsilon naught. So this is permittivity of a medium and this is permittivity of free space. The relative permittivity, in another way, we can call it as dielectric constant, and this term is going to be important for the next coming up chapter, and another way it is called as specific inductive capacity. So these two terms are going to be new to you, and these two two terms that you can make use of in your next chapter. Relative permittivity is a constant, and it has no units and no dimensions. Why? Because simply it's a ratio. It's a comparison between the permittivities of two different mediums. So after knowing about relative permittivity, let us calculate the force between force for different situations here. Let us take two charges which are being separated by distance r in free space, and the epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space here. So thereby we can write the Coulomb electrostatic force between the two charges as F1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, and the same two charges are now separated by distance r, and now here in the medium which carries permittivity epsilon m. So now in this case the force between these two charges is given by F2 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon m or epsilon medium into Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is the equation 2. So now if you are going to divide equation 1 by equation 2, we left with epsilon medium by epsilon naught. Why? Because this 1 by 4 pi will get cancelled, and Q1 Q2 by R square, Q1 Q2 by R square will be getting cancelled. So then 1 by epsilon naught by 1 by epsilon medium. So then it is going to be reversed. So then we left with epsilon m by r, epsilon medium by epsilon naught, and which is equals to epsilon r. This is epsilon r is nothing but relative permittivity. Already we know that, and otherwise we can call it as K, which is nothing but dielectric constant. Okay, so we got F1 by F2 is equals to Kr, F1 by F2 equals to epsilon r. And now we can modify this equation. If you want to calculate F2 is nothing but F1 by K. So from this equation we can able to understand that whenever the medium is going to present in between the two charges, then the force between the two charges will decreases by K times. Will decreases by how many times here? K times. So then this is the comparison between with medium and as well as without medium. Whenever the medium is being present in between the two charged particles, then the force will be decreased by K times, dielectric constant times it is going to be decreases. Okay. Now there is an important note about relative permittivity here. Suppose if you are going to calculate the relative permittivity of free space. So relative permittivity of free space is always epsilon r is equals to epsilon naught by epsilon naught. Again free space is compared with again free space, so then the value is going to be 1. Epsilon r or K value. Why? Because relative permittivity, another way we are going to call it as a dielectric constant also. So epsilon r or K value is equals to 1. And this is okay with us. And now the second case is if the charges are being placed in between, I mean to say, if any conductor is being placed in between the two charges, so then the K value, relative permittivity in that particular case will be equals to infinity. So here the conductor or a good metallic slab is not going to allow any sort of force in between the two charges. So the reason that you are going to learn in coming up classes, but here we have to understand the K value for metal slabs or for a good conductor is infinity. Okay, make it note. Next concept is electric field. The electric field. What is electric field here? So for every particle there must be some influence space around this. It can influence some space around it. In that particular space, if any charge is being placed, so definitely there will be an effect on that particular particle, charged particle. So that influences space around a charged particle is said to be electric field. Here we are going to define electric field as the influenced space. This is the influenced space around a charged particle in which another charged particle experience electrostatic force. It has to experience electrostatic force. Why? Because when you are going to place another charged particle in the density of a charged particle, definitely there must be Coulomb electrostatic force. So let us go with a charged particle Q here. So we can expect some influence space around this, and if you are going to place any charge in this influence space, there must be an electrostatic force in between these two charged particles. So then we can say that the region around this charged particle Q is nothing but electric field. So whenever this charge, that means we are taking it into the field, so then only it is going to experience the force. And if this charge is being out of this field, so we cannot expect any electrostatic force, and it is almost all zero. So within the field we can expect the force, and beyond the field we cannot expect any sort of force here. So this is electric field. After defining the electric field, we must go with the electric field lines or electric lines of force. Otherwise they are going to call it as ELF, electric line of force. So why we have to consider this electric line of force? Generally, to visualize the electric field, we cannot able to see the electric field actually with our eyes, but to understand the electric field, we are going to introduce these electric field lines. So how much for how much area this electric field is going to spread, we must understand. So for that purpose, we will take electric field lines concept here. So what is an electric field line? Suppose if you are going to take a charged particle and nearby it we will take another positive charged particle, we are going to place this here. So thereby, because of this repulsion between these two positive charges, so as this is going to be the lighter particle, it is free to move in the space such that, let us take that particle is going to move like this. It is going to take this path. So while it is going to take this path in a particular space, this particular path is said to be electric line of force or electric field lines. Let me explain once again. We are going to take a charged particle and we want to visualize the electric field of this charged particle plus Q. For that purpose, I am going to take another unit positive charge here and I am going to place this at this particular point. So thereby, when I am going to place it nearby, automatically some repulsion exists, and thereby, as it is free to move, this is going to follow the path like this, and it is going to follow this path. This particular path is said to be electric line of force, and this path is going to have some identity. On this path, if you are going to take at any point, if you are going to consider any point, and if you are going to draw the tangent on this, that tangent must indicate the direction of electric field at that particular point. You all know that electric field is a vector quantity, definitely it should have a direction. At each and every point, if you want to define electric field, so that is being possible with this particular electric field lines only. Without drawing electric lines of force, we cannot identify the direction of electric field at a particular point. So we can define electric line of force as It's an imaginary line or curve. It's an imaginary line or a curve along which an isolated unit positive charge. So what is the meaning of isolated unit positive charge? Isolated means here it is a unique one, and as well as it's a positive charge and it's a test charge, and it is going to move. It would move such that it can able to move inside this space here. So such that the tangent, this is important point, the tangent at any point on the curve will give rises the direction of electric field at that point. So the definition is going to be like this. Here you have to understand the 2 points here. It's an imaginary line or a curve. Okay, so there is no existence of these curves generally, but it's an imaginary line. Actually, we cannot see the existence of these lines in electric fields, and these are purely imaginary lines. And these imaginary lines are coming out of from unit positive charge, isolated unit positive charge, and such that the tangent, if you are going to select the path of unit positive charge, on that path, if you are going to consider the tangent at any point would represent the electric field at that particular point. Okay, so this is electric line of force, and these electric lines of forces are going to have some properties. Let us learn those properties right now. Now the properties of electric line of force. So the first property is all the field lines diverge from positive charge and they will converge into negative charge. See here, as we are going to get isolated charges here, that means we can have positive charge and we can have negative charge individually. Like in magnets, both North Pole and South Pole, in that particular magnets, they are being what we call something like they are being with together. We cannot make them isolate. But in case of charges here, we can separate positive charge and as well as negative charge. So we can get an isolated charge, and thereby they can have a separate fields. For negative charge there will be a separate field, and as well as positive charge there will be a separate field here. So then in this case, always this particular electric line of force, they are going to diverge from a positive charge here. So they will come out from positive charge, and whereas for negative charge all the lines will converge, they will come into a particular negative charge here. So this is a very important point. Why? Because positive charge and negative charge we can get isolate. We can make them isolate, and we can get them individual. Suppose if these two charges are being at a distance, now the electric field that we can visualize like this. So these electric lines of force will start from positive charge and they end up with negative charge here, and some of these lines are going to be end up with this negative charge, and some of these lines will come out like this. And this is nothing but this indicates the attraction force between the positive charge and as well as negative charge. And in this case here, if both are going to be negative charge here, if both are going to be positive charge or negative charge, so these lines are going to diverge. These lines are going to diverge from each other, and they won't interact with each other here. So this is the situation where we can see in repulsion case. Okay. And the next point is, now the second point is, the tangent at any point on the ELF gives the direction of electric field at that point. Already this point is in the definition of electrical line of force. Already we have read this. So let us take one ELF here. So this is the ELF of a charged particle. Let us take point B on this. Okay. So now if you are going to draw the tangent, so then this gives rise to the direction of electric field at that point. So the tangent at any point of ELF, this is ELF of a charged particle, so gives rise to the direction of electric field at that point. Why? Because at point to point the direction of the electric field may change. Why? Because this is going to be the curved path. Here at point something like R, the direction of electric field will be like this. Okay. Next one is third point. No two ELFs intersect with each other. So they won't intersect with each other. Why they won't intersect with each other? Let us take, if they are going to intersect with each other, what will happen? Let us see. Suppose two ELFs, I am going to draw like this. So this is ELF 1 and there will be another ELF which is going to cross this. Let us suppose these two are going to intersect with each other like this. So if you take these two ELFs, at this point, let us take this point is P now, and at this point if you want to note the direction of electric field, it may have like this, the direction will be like this. You have to draw one tangent in this direction and another tangent in this direction. Are you able to understand or not? Just look for once again. If you are going to take a tangent for these two ELFs at point P, so we will have two tangents as according to this ELF and according to this ELF also. So the direction of the tangents will be like this. So this is the direction of electric field at this point for same point P here, and this is also the direction of electric field at point P. This is something wrong. Why? Because at a particular point any electric field cannot have two directions. So that is impossible. So this particular concept is wrong. So hence we can decide that no two ELFs intersect with each other. So if they are going to intersect with each other, what will happen? At that particular point, it must have, that electric field must have two directions, which is impossible. So no two ELFs are going to interact with each other. And the fourth point is, they come out normally from the charged surface of the conductor. Let us take a charged surface, that means here this is a part of a conductor and this is being charged. Let us take the charge is being, the deposition is being like this. So now, because of this particular charges, always the electric field direction will be, that means ELF direction will be perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. So always they are being perpendicular. So this is perpendicular and this is also perpendicular like this, and even this will be also perpendicular. So always from the conductor, from the surface of the conductor, ELF comes perpendicularly. Okay. So next one is, they do not pass through the conductors. Suppose if you are going to see a conductor in presence of an electric field, so what will happen to the particular electric field or while it is passing through the conductor? So let me go with a diagram here. So let us take a charge Q here, and it is going to produce electric lines of force around it. And now in the density of this positive charge, we are going to take a conductor. It's a conductor, a conducting body here. So what will happen? Let us see. So as this is being a positive charge and here it is being a conductor, so it carries both negative charges and as well as positive charges. So because of induction process, already we have learnt out in charging by induction process. In that case, what will happen? The negative charges in this particular conductor, they are going to migrate and they are going to migrate towards this end. Why? Because this is positive charge, and the same amount of charge, negative charge is being migrating and they are going to be moved this side, and the same amount of positive charge will move in the opposite direction. So here what will happen? As this is being negative charge and this is being positive charge, we can expect the electric lines of forces like this. So these are the electric lines of forces which are coming from positive charge and they are going to end up with the induced negative charge inside the conductor. And from here onwards, again there is a positive charge. From this positive charge, again we are going to have electric field which comes out perpendicular to the surface of this charged conductor. So we can expect an electric field in between a charged particle and as well as conductor when the conductor is being placed in the vicinity of charged particle here. So we can expect the electric field in between these two, this surface and as well as charged particle, and from this onwards, that means here from the surface onwards we can expect electric field. But if you are going to see, there is no electric line of force here. There is no electric line of force here. So electric field will be equals to 0. There is no electric line of force that is being existing inside the conductor. Hence, we can say that there is no electric field inside the conductor. So we can write they do not pass through the conductors. So here, as there is no existence of electric field inside this conductor, we can say that these electric lines of force do not pass through the conductors. Okay? Now the sixth point is the number of field lines crossing per unit area. Any point is proportional to magnitude of electric field strength. So in this case, the number of field lines. Suppose here, if you are going to take a positive charge, so now if you are going to draw the electric lines of force like this, here you can expect more number of lines like this. So then if you are going to take a unit area in this region, this is the unit area in this region, so more number of lines are going to pass through this region, so then electric field will be more and the strength of the electric field will be more here. So as you are moving away from this charge, so the same area, for the same area you cannot expect more number of lines that are going to pass through this. So here the electric field strength will be less, and from this you can able to understand that while moving away from the charge, so the electric field strength will be lesser and lesser, it will decreases. So while nearer to the charged particle, the field strength will be more. Why? Because more number of lines are going to pass through unit area, so then it is said to be have more electric field here, more electric field strength, and here it is going to have less electric field strength. Suppose let us locate 2 points here, point P and as well as point S. So now here electric field at point P will be more than electric field at point S. If the density of electric field lines is more, then the field strength is also more. That means that the field is also more. Density means here number of lines, the same point we can expect, we can able to express in terms of density. Density means number of lines crossing per unit area. If the density is more, automatically the field will be more. So that is already we have understood from this particular point. Next, coming to the 8th point, the charge in a charge-free region. If there are no charges at all, so we can expect the lines are to be continuous. So continuous means here there is no break at all. So they are being continuous curves. But once the charge is being there in the density of another charge, we can have some break for those ELFs here. And now point is the number of ELFs crossing per unit area normal to the surface is normal to the given surface, normal to the surface, any surface that we are going to take, then it is said to be electric flux. Normal to this means here, as we are going to take this one. So if you are going to take, this is the surface, and now what are the lines that are coming out from this? Normally this is said to be electric flux. So these are ELFs which are coming out from normally from the surface here. So then these are said to be ELF electric flux here. Okay.